Well, I was getting my whiskey ready. Welcome, everyone, to the Bob and John Sports Hour. No Mr. Sharp, no Mr. Andre Sala, but we have Ray, the Raiders, joining us. And today's show is all about them silver and black Raiders. We're going to talk Raiders football tonight. We also have a Brock Purdy's contract. We're going to break that down and see if he's really worth $265 million. Mr. Irrelevant, who made less than $1 million for the last 3 years, right? $934,000 for the last 3 years. Now is in the top 10 as far as highest paid quarterbacks in the Dak's still number one, which is still is insane to both of us, right? He's still number one.
Yeah.
That's I thought about that. Do you think? Let me ask you this question: do you think eventually down the road he tries to restructure that deal to help the Cowboys, or do you see him like?
I think so. I do think so, because I think there's going to be a time here soon where Pickens is going to need his pay. Micah Parsons is going to need his pay for his contract. So I do think they're going to reconstruct his contract a little bit.
Wouldn't you want to be a fly in that room on the wall just to listen to what? You want
Talking
my money?
About millions. Yep.
You want my money, man? Oh, come on. Tom Brady did it. Start going. Joe Montana did it. Steve Young did it. Yeah, they're going to go through all that. I can see those and those two being such hardheads. I can see maybe if he doesn't perform this year and the Cowboys don't have the year that they think they're going to have, maybe some changes. Maybe I don't know. We'll have to look into that contract, because there may be a no trade contract and no trade clause in that contract. So it's a possibility, and I know that's the new.
That's tough, because I agree with you, right? But what are you going to expect for the Cowboys this season? Look at the division they're fighting in. Eagles, Commanders, like that's hard for them to place any higher than those two, man.
Yeah, and to start the season off with the Super Bowl champs is enough. Yeah, exactly. Dude,
on the road and another country.
And another country. I mean, that's going, I think, set the tone for the Cowboys season. I think, I mean, if you were a Cowboy, if you were the Cowboys general manager or the coach there, that would be the last team you want to see opening day.
Yep.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Because day one, week one, they have their shit together.
Yeah.
They just won the Super Bowl. They got defense on lock.
They're getting their rings. They're getting their rings.
So you're definitely not the team you want to play week one, Super Bowl champions, defending champions.
Ray, I don't think that's a home game for the Eagles. I think that they're playing in.
Is it a home game?
I think so. Because I remember seeing. Yeah, it's a home, because they're getting the rings. They're not going to give them the rings.
You're right.
What's the name of the stadium? God damn it, John, I can't remember. I grew up with it being Veteran Stadium, people, so go easy on me. I grew up in South Philly. That stadium was like 4 blocks from my house, so I grew up seeing it and calling it Veteran Stadium. But I know it's some sort of bank name. It's going to set a tone for that team, especially if they get blown out, right?
The Lincoln Financial Field.
There it is. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. That if they get blown out, I can see the locker room just maybe taking I don't know, like the right word to use, like just, when you get beat that bad on opening day and the morale, team
Your
morale. If
morale,
it's a
team morale,
blowout,
team
yeah,
spirit.
yeah, if it's a blowout, I can see them losing 2 games after that. Do we hate the Cowboys that much?
Oh, man. Okay, well, I do. I mean, I don't know about you, but me personally, I do. Um, but
Yeah,
man, I don't know. I definitely think they're a team that has a lot to prove this year. I
yeah,
feel like, you say that we've been saying the last couple of years about the Cowboys that, we know that they're good enough to make it to the playoffs, but can they actually contend?
yeah,
Um, but do we know if they're even going to make it to the playoffs? Do we really have a chance to make it to the playoffs this year? I don't
mm,
know. You
yeah,
know, that division's difficult. It's only proven to get better in the past 2 years with the Eagles and the Commanders. So we'll see what they can do. I think they're gonna have a lot of eyes on them with their head coach.
yeah.
If they don't make the playoffs or if they're not competitive enough, who knows? Maybe the head coach has got to go.
Yeah, you got to go back. Let's see here. In 2021, they won it. They won the first place in the NFC East at 12-5. And well, 2020 I don't count because it's 6-10. I mean, I think everybody was. Did we really give a shit about football in 2020? I know they
It
played
was
for
still
us.
COVID years, so yeah, yeah. It wasn't as watched and followed, and yeah,
Yeah,
we won't count it as much.
yeah. Was that really, for me, was it strange for you though, watching the game and just seeing nobody out there, just nobody in the
Yeah,
stand? That was
yeah,
trippy.
yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, no, it definitely stands out because you have people in the center of the field and everything else out is empty. So you can't help but notice that. It's weird.
And you heard everything. That was what the sweet part of it. You heard the players' grunts. There's no noise.
Yeah,
There's no crowd noise. Yeah,
yeah.
you remember what the NFL did with you buy a poster of yourself and they put you in the seat. Did you remember seeing that?
Oh, I do, I do.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So you could, for like, I don't know how much it was, but you can do a kind of like a 4-foot picture of yourself sitting in the seat,
Mhm.
and they would take those and put them in the seats, so it looked like people were there at the game. Yes, the cardboard cutouts. Sure, that's what it was. The NFL always thinking about how to make money, right? Always thinking about.
I mean, yeah, they had to, right? In a season where no fans being there means no money in their pockets, they had to come
Yeah,
up with an idea that can allow them to still get some money.
yeah, and as much as we hate them, it's still a team that I think everybody wants to see in that playoff mix. It's just they're just that like that. It's not, I want to say, like, historical team or franchise team that people expect to see in the playoffs. And I think there's a few teams that are like that. The Cowboys, the 49ers. Green Bay. People have
Yep,
been
yep.
dying to see the Bears make it to the playoffs for you, but it's those teams that
Mhm.
I think not only do the fans want to see them in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl, but I think the network, it shows when Cowboys are in or winning, ratings are up. And when Cowboys make it to the playoffs, ratings are up. It's just a team that I think everybody needs to see in that situation. And it's too bad because I mean, no other team spends money like they do, right? Right?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah, no other team. I mean, it's weird because, like, you have in baseball, you have the Dodgers spending a ton of money. You got the Yankees spending a ton of money. You got Boston spending so it's kind of spread out, like who's spending the money. And in the NFL, it's
Yeah.
with the salary cap, everything has changed a little bit, but it's for me, I think it's the owner. I think the owner making some really stupid decisions on who to bring in and how to spend that money with that team. But that's enough of Cowboy talk.
Cowboys, yeah.
Enough Cowboy talk. God damn it! The Los Angeles Raiders have made plenty of adjustments in the offseason to get better, earning them an
Las
A minus.
Vegas.
A
Las
minus.
Vegas.
Yeah, yeah. Las Vegas. Did I say Oakland?
He said Angeles.
Oh, did I? Oh, yeah, yeah. Las Vegas. See what I mean? And then the other day, someone got me with that. I can't help it, man. It's San Diego Chargers. San Diego Chargers.
Oh,
I,
yeah, yeah.
I think that's going to take me a couple years before I start saying Los Angeles Chargers. It's just been that kind of thing. A minus,
Mhm.
according to PFF. The Las Vegas Raiders may be one of the most improved NFL teams in the offseason and are set for a cultural reset next year. Raiders haven't had a winning record since 2021. And I was trying to remember what were they 9-9, 8 and in 2021? I can't remember. I know it was a winning season for them, but is it a winning season with one game? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was actually a 10-7 season that year.
Okay, so it's a good season. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
a good season. They made some great moves. Pete Carroll to start off,
Mhm.
that's the big move. That was the smart
Yeah.
move, and of course your GM, including Tom Brady, an important offseason decision and training. And what I want to get into and start off with you is your expectations and hopes and dreams for Geno Smith.
Right now,
Yeah,
my
yeah,
I think that my personal expectations and hope for Geno Smith is that he can play at a top s yes, sir, let's go Raiders, yup. It's definitely for him to play at least at a top 15, top 14 quarterback. I think that's the type of floor he has, but I think he has the ability to even be to play at a top 10, being at 10 at the end, of course,
yeah,
but I think he could play that good at the end of the year, end of the season, when it's all said and done. I think he could have that type of season where you look at his total yards, you
yeah.
look at his accuracy, you look at the red zone, when you look at everything, I think when it's all said and done, he might have a chance to be a sneaky top 10 at the 10 type quarterback.
Yeah, I think I think he had an off season last year with Seattle, but we all know why. I mean, no weapons. He had no weapons. He had nobody to throw the ball to. I think
No
that
O
hurt his.
line,
Yeah, O line's
terrible O
horrible.
line.
Yeah. He was 70% completion with, I think, 4,320 yards, 21 touchdowns, 15 interception with a rating of 93.2. So that's a big drop from 2023 for him. But I think like
Mhm.
with a lot of his weapons leaving, I think, and a little bit of, I don't know, with that team, I want them to be good again, but then also I don't want them to be good because, of course, they're in my
Yeah,
division.
division.
So
Yeah.
I really don't want Arizona or Seattle playing well. But yeah, I think he's going to be a great pick for you guys, and I think he's got weapons, you know,
Mhm.
and he's got a running back now. So we're going to see. We're going to talk a little bit about him as well. Uh, One of the questions that comes up a lot when you do a search for Geno Smith, and it comes up a lot, is a lot of people consider him a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. I want to get your take. Do you feel he's a top 5 quarterback?
I
That's
personally, I
tough.
don't,
Yeah,
I can't crown him as a top 5 quarterback. Now, like I said earlier, I think he definitely has the overall potential and he's in the system with the weapons and the O line to allow him to be a top 10 quarterback.
yeah,
But I definitely will not say that he can be a top 5. The farthest I think I could see him being again is maybe maybe 9, maybe 8. But I don't see him being able to outperform when you look at all the other quarterbacks that we have in the league.
yeah,
Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen,
yeah,
Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts,
yeah.
Jordan Love. There's so many really good quarterbacks out there. Jaden Daniels, the season
Jane
he had, if
Daniels.
he plays
Yeah,
like that again. These are
yeah.
all really top tier elite quarterbacks. So for me to try to say I think he could be top 5 is kind of just that's foolish of me. But I think he can make it and be a top 10 quarterback in the league this
Yeah,
year.
yeah. He just needs to be accurate and hit his mark, and I think just let the game flow with for him this year. And I think for for what they have here as a top tier, and you're correct. You said names that are considered and are always right now for this year and for future years: Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, all generally considered to be a different level of talent and impact. Smith, he's good, he's reliable quarterback, but consistently, we'll see. I mean, I hope you guys got the quarterback that you need. And I think with Pete Carroll's at the helm and that offense, I think it's, they worked together before. So I think it's going to, I think there's enough familiarity there for him to where he's not like coming in and having to learn a whole new offense. I think he knows Pete Carroll's offense. He knows how to run that offense, and he's got weapons. Got the best tight end. I'm going to say it. The best. Bob's not even here, and I'm going to say it. The best tight end in the NFL right now. So
you got that right. You got that right, John. And another thing I'd like to point out is Geno didn't start his first 2 to 3 years in his career.
Correct.
So that's 2 to 3 years of wear and tear that never happened. So you look at his age right now. I believe Geno is just to make sure. Okay. He's going to be 35 when the season starts, okay?
Yeah.
So, he's 35, but you take back at least 2 years, 33. He's still a 33, youngish, fresh vet. He's not too old, not too much wear and tear. He never took any type of big hits in his career either. So he's still a very healthy, and he's not the most mobile quarterback, but he can make moves with his feet. So, I definitely think, like you said, if he just hits our weapons and just gets the ball in the hands of the best tight end in the league, like Brock, hands the ball off to Genty, and Genty's able to have a phenomenal season. Genty is the type of prospect that in the last couple of years, the only other prospects in the past 10 years, I believe, that's came out that's been expected with these expectations has been Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, and maybe, I don't know, but back to when Ezekiel Elliott was back first drafted, but the main two I would like to say is Saquon and Bijan. There's no other prospects that have had these type of expectations coming out in the first round and coming straight for the rookie year. So he has weapons.
Yeah, let me give you the top 5. We got the top 5. Here we go. These are fun facts about Geno Smith. 5 things to know about your quarterback. Are you ready?
Here we go.
A revered career. Smith was selected in the second round, 39th overall in 2013 NFL draft by the New York Jets. Poor bastard. You of all the teams, you wonder why, every time the number 1 pick goes, I don't want to go to the Jets. I don't want to go to Chicago. I don't want to go to the Giants. It's always like those 3 teams. It's like, no, you know what? I don't want to go to the Jets. I don't want to go. He started 29 games. His first 2 seasons complied 5,571 yards passing, 25 touchdowns, 34 interceptions. Smith then suffered an injury shortly before the 2015 season, opening the door for Ryan Fitzpatrick. You remember him?
There you go, Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah. There's a lot there. Stats as a starter in Seattle. Smith set his career high and franchise single season record in passing attempts, completing passes in 2022, and became just the 3rd Seattle Seahawk quarterback in franchise history to throw 30 touchdowns. That's weird. You would think all the airing out that they did back in the 70s and 80s that no quarterback ever threw over 30 touchdowns. That's insane. He also led the NFL in completion percentage at 69.8 and ranked 5th in passing rating at 109. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good fucking number right there. And 2024, Smith set a new career high and franchise record for attempts at 578 completions at 407 passing yards with 4,320 yard completion percentage. He finished top 5 in the league. See, I think that's why everyone gets that mistake. He has these bursts of brilliance, and then there may be some obviously injury or just a season without anybody to throw the ball to. Played under Pete Carroll, we know that for a fact, and he's back with his his mentor, his daddy. Let's call him his dad.
Yep.
What?
The
What?
the guy that literally rejuvenated his career, that gave him
Exactly.
another shot.
What did you do to Art? You Raider-essed him. What did you guys do to that poor guy?
I love it, man. I don't know what happened. I don't know what I said to convince him, but hey, he's on the side. He's on the dark side. So
Yeah, he's they're gonna take it all this year. He's already play, we all know he played under Pete Carroll. According to Next Gen Stats, Smith threw 40 touchdown passes, traveling over 10 yards. Oh, okay, traveling over 10 yards for 2022 and 23, ranking second in the NFL. Raiders quarterback combine to throw just 9 such touchdown passes last season. Wow, that's crazy. That's true. Is that right?
what? What was the last part?
Raiders quarterbacks combined threw just 9 such touchdown passes last year over 10 yards. Wow.
Over 10 yards?
Yeah.
I wouldn't doubt that.
Yeah, I
I
wouldn't
would
doubt
not
it
doubt
either.
that.
The second fewest in the league.
Because
Yeah.
I know Gardner Minshew was like 15 and 15 or 15 and 16, like some terrible number. Like he threw just as much interceptions as he did touchdowns. So
Yeah. He has a family connection. He's got a lot of lineage in the NFL too. He's got let's see here. He's got his cousin, and Marvin Barton was a star running back at the University of Miami and went to play 2 seasons in '89 and '90 with the Broncos. Smith's great uncle, Danny Smith, was an All-American hurdler. Sorry, hurdler. He's a hauler. He's a hurdler in the
Baller.
1970s in Florida State and held world NCAA records. His great grandfather, Clyde Smith, was renowned bodybuilder and boxing referee in the Bahamas. So he's got, yeah, it's that lineage. You know what I mean? You got family, you're athletes after athlete after athlete after. It
Yep.
sucks, man. Why did we get that gene, Ray? Why did we get that? We want millions of
Hey,
dollars.
you're
What,
blessed. You're blessed and you're not. So you're either lucky or not. I mean,
I got the height. We both got the height. We just
we
didn't
got the
get the
height.
other. We didn't get the other
Yeah.
stuff. God said, "Nah, you know what? Yeah, Ray doesn't need to run fast. Nah, put it over there. Does John need to jump high? Nah, let's make John jump just barely enough to almost dunk, and then he'll try for the next 10 years to try to dunk. Yeah, no,
And never be able to.
and
Yeah.
never be able.
It's a painful feeling. It's a painful feeling.
Boom, boom. I just couldn't get this. I couldn't get this part over.
Yeah. Over
It,
the rim.
I
Yeah.
couldn't. I just couldn't
I
get that
couldn't either.
extra.
Every time I jumped, the ball smacked the rim.
Yeah, it was.
Ball, like, because I palm it, go up, and I smack the rim.
Yeah, and and it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you really break it down, just to get an extra 4 or 5 inches is a lot when you're jumping.
Oh yeah, we've heard that before. 4 or 5 inches is a lot.
It's a lot. Hey, it's the standard. I think it's 5.6 inches. He's Miami to West Virginia, so he played in Miami and West Virginia, Ohio State. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing him in silver and black, and hopefully see a much better team this year. I think we talked a little bit about it. I think Pete Carroll's is the type of coach that wants respect, and he wants a locker room that isn't loud music, partying, smoking blunts, and after one win, after 6 losses, the party, you're not going to get that party atmosphere. I think you're going to get a more professional locker room, and guys that want to be there and win. So, and what's your take as far as Pete Carroll? And we've seen the videos of what the locker room used to be last year. It was a little chaotic, even after losses, they were still kind of acting like, hey, you know what, we're still a great team. And I hated seeing that, but you think that's going to be a big difference in the locker room with Pete Carroll's in there?
Most definitely. Look, I'm not gonna say that Pete Carroll's on the same level of an Andy Reid, but when you got like a Jim Harbaugh or Sean Payton, you got these certain coaches that
Yeah.
they've earned Super Bowl rings. They're respected in the league. If you take a coach like that and put them in almost any team, I'm
Yeah.
not saying it's gonna work out, but in terms of the immediate respect that you're gonna
Yeah.
get. and the immediate trust in their process and their vision, I'm sure it's 100% because they've proven it. They've shown that they're winners. They've shown that their way works, and that if you just trust in them and lean in their process, that it's gonna work. So I definitely think that when you have a head coach like Pete Carroll in that locker room and out there on the field, building that one-on-one with everybody, having camaraderie, but also letting them know I am your head coach and this is how things are done. That respect is immediately there. They're gonna just trust him, and I think it makes a big difference. Especially when you look at the head coaching that we've had the past 2 years. AP tried. You gave him a shot. He was never. It was a long shot, to be
It
honest.
was a long shot,
hoping it was a long shot, but then you look at the year before, Josh McDaniels, a proven OC, but it's clear 2 times now, not a good head coach. So now, you don't just go for a long shot and a potential OC to head coach transfer. You don't go for a long shot and someone who's never been in a head coaching position like that before. You grab somebody who's a proven winner, who's proven and respected across the league, and put that man in your locker, and people will listen.
Yeah, no, you're right. I think they tried with AP, and I think it was more of a I don't know. I always like I always go back to parenting. It's like, do you want to be your kid's best friend or do you want to be a parent? You know what I mean? And you can have a little bit of both, but you can't have one. You can't just be your kid's best friends and just And I think that's what you got, that atmosphere. I think he was trying to be everyone's friend. And I mean, I wasn't in the locker room, but did you feel he ever disciplined anyone in that locker room?
Honestly,
I mean,
like
it's
I
hard
feel
for
like
us.
there was.
We're not there, but
Yeah, I
we
know.
still
We're not
have that
from
sense.
from what you could feel and from all the Raiders reports that I follow and all the insiders. I can't really say that I got that vibe per se. I think there might have been moments where he said what he had to say, but I don't think he knew what needed to be done in his job and when he needed to say certain things and when he
Yeah,
needed to, like you say, step up and be the head coach, not the friend.
yeah,
Because even in terms of certain practices, there was weeks where just because we won a game, we're getting an extra day of practice off. Like, what are we doing here?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you're
That's
you're
nuts.
you're a that's crazy. You're a first time
Yeah,
head coach. What are you doing rewarding your players for getting a win when you're still just because you win a game doesn't mean you're the best team. It doesn't mean you're ready to win the next game. Like there's so much more practice and preparation that needs to be done. So you can't be cutting your team slack. So there was
yeah.
just stuff in terms of the head coaching aspect and decision making that you could tell that he just was not ready for.
Yeah, and I think a lot too is you got the new coach. You come in, the season starts, and you got these. You have their ear. I think you have their ear on that first game, and then whatever happens, I think a lot of respect for him and discipline from him. I think you may agree or disagree with me, but when Devontae Adams left. I think when Devontae Adams left, I think he lost the locker room. Do you feel like that may have been a contributor to them not listening or not having his ear when it came to practice and performance and game time, except for the greatest tight end in the NFL right now? I guess he didn't get the memo to slack off a little, but
Yeah, no, I definitely think that you'd be crazy to not think that that has an effect on the team, right? I think any team out there where your wide receiver one, who is an elite player, a
yeah,
proven elite player, when you see them act the way Devontae was acting and how Devontae felt and how
yeah,
Devontae ended up deciding to look for that trade, to seek the trade, that
yeah,
100% is going to open eyes and everyone's going to be like, damn, like, we really don't got it together. You don't know what you're doing as a coach. Look, our best player wants to go. You guys don't know how to get him the ball. We can't win any games. Like, of course, there's all these thoughts are going to come up between these players.
yeah.
Brock Bowers, brother, tell him, Bob. You already know. Brock Bowers,
Yeah,
baby.
I think he was the link in that team, and I think the way he's always talked about the Raiders and when he got signed, Devontae, and how he wanted to go to a team that was going to win another championship for him, and I think he did believe that, and that the
Mhm.
Raiders were going to be that team. So when you hear and you know that whole backstory as a player of the Raiders, and you see the link, the main link, decide that this team isn't going anywhere and wanting to leave, And then of all places to go to, the Jets, that's the thing. It's like as a Raider player, you're saying to yourself, wait a minute, you left the Raiders because you want to win another championship and you go to the Jets? Is that are
It
we
was
that bad? that's
yes,
how I'm
yes.
thinking.
Yes, that exactly 100%. That's the thought that's got to be going through your mind is the organization so bad, and do we really not have a chance of winning right now because of the lack of play calling and head coaching being done that I'm gonna go to the Jets? The answer to that is yes. He in
Yeah.
his brain he'd rather play with his one of his best friends, if not his best friend, Aaron Rodgers. You know,
Yeah.
if he's gonna have a bad season, at least have a fun season with someone you're very familiar with. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
he did.
Yeah, I agree with you, Bob. I think he did want to play with Aaron, but for me is like when I watched the special on Netflix with the wide receivers and the way he talked about the Raiders and why he made a decision to go to the Raiders and how he felt the Raiders were going to be that team that makes it to the playoffs and into the Super Bowl. I think when he decided to walk away, I think a majority of the players said what we just talked about. It's like, well, wait a minute here, fuck, are we that bad that you decide to leave here? Even if it's Aaron Rodgers, you still decided to go to an even worse team than we are to play it out. So yeah, let me pull up this, Ray, and we'll go through each one of these. Hold on, share screen. And you give me a little bit. Can you see it, Ray?
Yes. Yeah. I
All
can
right,
see it.
perfect. Yeah, perfect. Let me go. Let me see if I can do this full screen, and that'll make it just a little bit bigger. That's what she said. Hold on. A little office humor there, people. All right. All right. There we go. All right. And then go full screen. Go ahead. Give me your thoughts on the number 6 pick, the first pick from the I
Man,
almost said Oakland.
from
I almost
Boise
said
State.
Oakland.
He said I was something, but Las Vegas Raiders. Yep,
The
with
Las Vegas
the
Raiders.
the first pick in the first round with the sixth pick, Las Vegas Raiders took Ashton Genty from Boise State. This was a guy that I wanted. Now, I tried not to get too excited and have my
Right.
all
Right.
my eggs in one basket, but I made it clear. I made it clear. I was honest and said the guy that I wanted and hoped we would take is Ashton Genty, and we did.
Yeah.
Last year we had one of the worst two run games in the entire NFL. You know, you're
Yeah.
not going to win any games in the league when you're forced to throw a ball with a quarterback that can't throw the ball.
Mm,
So this time around, you get a head coach that they love to run the ball. So you take a guy that's going to help him play his system, play his game, and run the ball. Who Ashton Denty has some amazing contact balance, has decent speed. He will always break a tackle. This man has, I want to say he has like 1,700 yards
yeah.
just after
After the catch.
contact.
Yeah. Contact. Yeah.
After contact. That's more than any other player and that came out of college last year just from the after the contacts perspective. So you add all of that together, you
Yeah.
add somebody that's going to help improve the run game. So Raheem Mostert's not forced to just, do it all himself. Now you have
Yeah.
a two there. Ashton Genty's your one. Your running back room is way better. It's not one of the worst in the league no more. And so this guy is going to help us win games so much because the prospect that he is, it's crazy. Like I mentioned earlier, there's not been too many prospects that's came out from a running back perspective that's been projected to do as good as Ashton Genty is being projected to do right now.
Yeah.
There's some high expectations on this kid.
Yeah.
Most people have him winning rookie of the year already right now. He's
Ooh,
number one in those odds. If you look at
yeah.
odds in Vegas, he's the number one player to win rookie of the year. So those are
I,
the type of expectations that are currently placed on this kid. So
I, I
I
like
think
this
he's
right
gonna
here.
help a lot.
You see this right here. I'm
Joins the
highlighting.
dark side. Yeah.
I love that. And you know what? I
Yeah.
didn't know. I did. I'm just kind of looking at his stats, and I didn't realize he can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think that's a big deal right now in the
Yeah.
NFL. So having that extra extra receiver coming out of the backfield here and every now and then, I think is going to help Geno Smith if he goes through his progressions and doesn't see anybody open. And having Gentry open and being able to have the confidence to throw the ball to him and know that he's going to catch it and actually put some yards. I think that's really good. I didn't notice that. 14 for 155 yards with 11.1 receiving yards. That's pretty damn good.
That's, John, that's a great point to bring up because, like you said, if nobody's open, you have Genty right there. And something that a lot of people aren't familiar with is 2023 season, Genty led college football from all running backs from a receiving standpoint.
From out of the screen. Yeah.
So if he was able to lead in the receiving aspect for 2023 and 2024, he led the league in yards overall. You see the way this kid gets his yards, the way he avoids tackles, the way he fights for first downs, the way he fights for touchdowns.
Yeah.
This kid is an amazing prospect. And like I said, we're going to be running the ball. But if you move and you stack the box and you move your guys down, you better watch out for that ball that Geno's going to unleash.
Yeah. It says he tied the team league with 5 receiving touchdowns. So that's going to be good because I think that's the it has been the formula that has been working for a lot of. It's worked for the 49ers, having someone to come out of the backfield and catch the ball with McCaffrey. I mean, McCaffrey's got great hands, and you've got you got a couple other wide receiver. I'm sorry, a couple other running backs that you got sure hands. Whether it's running it or passing the ball to them. So that's going to be nice to have Geno Smith to have an extra weapon coming out there. Let me scroll down. Anything else you want to say about that?
Ashton Genty? Yeah. The last thing I'd like to point out is think about how much easier it's going to be for a quarterback when you're not forced to be in 3rd and 9s, 3rd and 8 situations. You're going to have somebody that's going to constantly get you yards and put you in 3rd and 5, 3rd and 3 situations. Yeah. So that's going to take so much pressure off of Geno to where he doesn't have to force the throw, because that's one of the things where last year that, again, a lot of people didn't realize is his TD to interception ratio was like 21-16. But man, the only reason why he even had those 16 interceptions is because his team's behind. He's in a 3rd and 9, a 3rd and 12, and he has to go for a deep ball to try to win it all. I believe we're not going to be in as many of those situations. I think we're going to be either keeping it close or have a lead and then have the run game take over. So, and that's, again, because of what Ashton Genty brings to the table. So I'm excited for us to have a run game, for, us to have someone that can pass protect for Geno too. Hopefully he works on that a little bit more, because you know how important that is in the NFL. But I'm excited, man. This kid has so much to bring to the table, and I think he's going to have a crazy year.
Yeah, and having him in the backfield, and for once, I kind of feel like that. You brought it up, but I feel like we're not going to see the Raiders playing from behind. Maybe a touchdown or a field goal behind, but not like last year where they were sometimes 2 or 3 touchdowns, three scores behind. And I think if having Ashton back there, I think if they can get a lead, you got a running back now that can, they can work the clock. So, they need, to get that first down. They're going to get that first down. It's 3rd and 5. You're going to be able to get that 5 yards. So I think clock management and having a good running back there, that you have the confidence that when you're, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 5, you're going to get it, whether he runs it or he comes from scrimmage. And so, I think it's a great pick for you guys. I think it was smart. I'm glad you guys got him and didn't try. My concerns were during the draft that now this is Al Davis time, but Al Davis would have tried to work to that first pick. And I could see him doing that, but I'm glad you guys stuck it out and didn't try to work some sort of deal, like try to, give up the house. And it's not like no, I'm not shitting on you, but there was not like you guys had a lot to offer other than draft picks and maybe Brock, and you're not getting rid of Brock. There's no way you guys, so I was glad that they just held back, waited, hoped for him to be in that spot and didn't hesitate. They went and got him, and I think it was a great move for you guys.
I agree. Shoot, I'll take it one quick step further, just real quick before we get to the next pick.
Yeah.
If this was the Raiders of the old John, we take Shedeur Sanders there at 6.
Shedeur Sanders.
Like 100%. If this is the Raiders of the old, we're taking Sanders at 6. And it's crazy to think that that's the truth, but that is the reality. And I'm so glad that we have people in that front office now that aren't reaching for players, that aren't taking players that aren't going to help us win now. If we can create a better roster to win now. So
Ray,
I'm just
that
glad
was
we have
spot
more
on,
competent
Ray.
front office.
That was spot on. You're right.
Am
dude,
I wrong?
Think of that. I just thought about that. I was like, yeah, you're right. If Al Davis was still there, Al Davis would have took Shedeur Sanders.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think Jason, I think you're right. I think everybody thought they were going to snag him. I think I did. I really did think
that.
Good
point. That's a good
Shut
point,
up,
Jason.
Art. You don't know. You don't even remember
like
the 80s. You don't even remember that. You're a new Raider. You're a new Raider fan. We're going to get you to
tell him, Art.
You're going to have to get you a book. I'm going to get you a book on our history of the Raiders. Oh, man. Number two, your guys' number 2 pick in round 2. Your thoughts, Ray? Jack.
Picking Jack Besh. Man, I am excited for this player. I right off the bat, from what I've been seeing and what I've been hearing from the people that cover the Raiders very closely, this guy is the best receiver we have on our team right now.
Yeah.
Let me say that again. He's the best receiver we have right now. And that's including Jacoby Myers.
I was just going to say.
Who's a sure-handed receiver who had his first year at being a wide receiver 1 last year and broke 1,000 yards for the first time in his career. People are already saying, many people, that Jack Besh is the best receiver we have. And as a Raiders fan, I love to hear it. I love to hear it because whether Besh is going to be our 2 or Myers, we don't extend Myers and Besh is our new 1. Either way, it works out. Besh is a phenomenal player.
Yeah.
You know, he has a hell of a story to back up and motivate him as it is. But you look at, he's like 6'1.5", 215 pounds, sure hands. This guy's only ever dropped 4 balls in his whole college career.
Yeah.
Last year, it was his first full transition and start as a wide receiver because he started as a tight end, and he broke over 1,000 yards and only dropped 1 ball.
Yeah,
this guy is literally a combination of like Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. He's an in-between blend of them. He does a lot of his damage in the slot. He's not the tallest guy, but he's very physical, and he doesn't drop a ball.
Yeah, he is. I watched a couple of clips. He runs people over.
He does. He's physical. He's very physical. And so what I noticed with just the first 2 picks off the back is we want to improve the offense, right?
Yeah.
But the way we're going about it too is we're going for physical, putting my head down. I'm going to be aggressive, and we're going to be contact heavy team. You're getting a guy that's also not afraid to block. Again, remember, he started as a tight end. So he's had to block as a tight end.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like Jason just pointed out, he almost plays like a tight end because he has that starting experience as a tight end. So you're going to have somebody like a Besh that loves to block and is good at blocking. Jacoby Myers, who's a dog and it gets a physical and can block and is good at blocking. Brock Bowers, your tight end. Michael Mayer, your tight end, who can block and good at blocking. All of these guys are going to help set up and block for Ashton Genty whenever you go for those 2 yards out route because no one else is open, like you stated earlier. And then you have these guys, your receivers on the end, blocking for Genty, allowing him to pick up 5 to 7 yards, just because they are willing blockers. I love that in round 2, we made 2 trades happen, allowing us to pick up 2 additional round picks in the 3rd round and still managed to come away with a very elite receiver that I think is going to surprise some teams. And he's going to be the perfect addition and fit for our Raiders offense that we're looking to run under Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly.
Yeah. In 2024, second team All Big 12 Conference, led the team with 62 receptions, 1,034 yards, 16.7 average, 9 receiving touchdowns, started 12 games, 234. I don't know what those numbers are. PRI or the PR. Did not play in the team's New Mexico Bowl win over Louisiana. That's typical. Yeah, if you know you're being drafted, a lot of these guys, if it's not a national championship or some sort of conference play, they're not going to. I wouldn't.
No.
I know I'm going to the NFL, brother. I'm not playing.
No. If I'm getting picked first round, second round, I'm not doing nothing to get hurt.
If it's not for a national title or some sort of bowl game, the bowl games you got it. I mean, you play to you play, yeah. But if you decide it's like, yeah, never mind.
You actually brought up the bowl games. Jack Bech actually in the Senior Bowl, he was invited and he won MVP of the Senior Bowl. He won the final, he caught the final passing touchdown to win the game for his team. So again, I just seen so many things from that young man. And the last thing I want to point out real quick before we go to the next player is with Jack Bech, I just talked about the player that he is, the attributes that he has and what he brings on the field. What he brings off the field and what's happened in his personal life, there you go. With his story, again, he's more than his story, but his story is a part of him.
Yeah.
His brother earlier this year in January 1st, was in New Orleans when that terrorist attack happened, and he was one of the people, unfortunately, that passed away.
Yeah.
And, Jack Bech got his brother's date and his name tattooed on his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he literally said everybody he talks to, every interviewer, when you get me, if you draft me, if I'm on your team, you're not just getting me. You're getting my brother Tiger. You're getting a 2-for-1. I'm carrying my brother with me. He's my guardian angel. And so I just think when you have a player that's already as good as he is, and you add the fuel to the fire of his story, wanting to make a name and do something for him and his brother, I think this guy's going to go out there and show he's got something to prove, and do not underrate him.
Yeah, no, you're right. When you're playing for family, or you're playing for someone, your dad, or you bring that extra. So I got high expectations. I watched a lot of clips of him playing the last couple of weeks, and he's going to be something special for you guys, and I think it's going to work out for you guys. Hey, it's another guy, but I got to disagree with you on. I think Jakobi Meyers has a breakout year. I think he's going to have his 1,500, 1,700 yard year. I really do. I think he is.
I like that.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he's been sitting in the shadows of Devontae Adams for long enough. And I think he kind of proved himself last year. I think if you guys would have had a better quarterback last year, he was open a lot. He wasn't throwing the ball to. So, I mean, it's just it's that, and I get, and every quarterback has that one guy that they feel comfortable throwing the ball to. And I really don't think Aiden had the confidence at that moment. Let's put it this way: you got Brock, and I understand that, but Brock's not always open all the time. So if you're looking at Brock as your number one as a tight end, and you're not looking on Jakobi's side, I think that's got to suck. But I think we're going to see a breakout year for Jakobi Meyers. I think he'll be up there with the elite wide receivers next year. I really do.
I love that, John. I think that's a great prediction to point out. Yeah. I like to agree and think he's going to have even a better year than the best season that he just had last year. Right. I think he has like a 1,200 yard type season, 1,300 yard type season. And I just hope, as long as Bech can get us 600 yards, maybe even 700 yards as a rookie, just shows he shows up when needed. He catches the ball when it's delivered to him, and he gets us those first down balls. I'm gonna love it. I just want to see that he has what it takes, and that he's all the hype that I'm currently seeing right now. Oh, what did Jason? Okay, Jason said, to me, Jacoby Myers is a lot like Jawan Jennings. Can step in and perform on the outside when needed to, and excels in the slot. That is a good point. Jacoby is definitely a guy that can play on the boundary, but he does a lot of his damage in the inside slot as well.
Yeah, inside slot. Hey, Jason, I sent you a DM on Facebook. Look at it. And Art, I sent you a text message. Look at it too. We're going to try the call-in feature while we're on the sports show. So you guys know the number.
Ooh.
And we'll give it a test here during the show. So if you got a question, a Raider question, Jason or Art, call in and Ray, the Raider will answer that question. And let me really quick say hello to Vincenzo Colette. Hello, my cousin. Hey, Ray, he is watching us all the way from Sicily.
Woo! Heck yeah. What's going on, Vincenzo? Man.
And say, you can say to him, or what time? Okay. Say, buonasera, Ray.
Say it again.
Buonasera. Good
buonasera.
Evening. Yeah, buonasera. There you go. Anytime. I'm going to teach you Italian. Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, heck yeah. I'd love that.
A good afternoon from Italy. Yes, it is afternoon here, Vincenzo. It's 2:00. Let's get into Porter. Your thoughts on Porter, the Iowa State guy, 6'2", 195 pounds, cornerback.
This is one of those players where you love the physical attributes. He is closer to 6'3" than he is 6'2". Yeah. So this is a 6'3", low end 6'3" corner that has good arm length and runs a 4.2 40. So he has the height, the arm length, the speed.
Yeah.
Now, last year in college was his first year playing his corner. He actually started off playing as wide receiver his first couple of years in college, and then made that transition last year to a corner. Now, something that excites me about a couple of things that excites me about this young man is there was like 2 teams in the draft that tried to call us to make a trade to get this kid specifically. And the Niners were one of those teams.
Yeah, Niners.
Now again, for a player to go early in the 3rd round draft and for other teams to want to trade up to take him, even though it was his first year at corner, has a lot to be said about what this player can potentially be. So from what I've seen so far, and the clips and the tape at rookie minicamp, he's, again, his physical attributes are real. The way he moves, the length, the height, and I love it. But he also has it up here. And that's the thing that I think needs to be considered. Football smarts. Yes. He said it himself. He said, look, I know I have the physical attributes, but I want to be more than just my physical ability. I want to show that I know what it takes up here, and I have the intelligence for the plays as well. And I love that. So, this guy has shown he's very, very intelligent, the way he speaks, the way he's eager to learn, how quickly he's been learning. I would love if this guy could make a good surprise, make a good show the first couple of weeks and just show progress. If he can be our second or third corner, I'd be happy with that, because I think he has the potential to be in the long term one of our top 2 corners, just because he's a Pete Carroll guy. Pete Carroll, went for a Richard Sherman and the Champ Chancellor type players.
Yeah,
this Darian Porter is my Champ Chancellor type comparison, and Darian Porter even said it himself.
Yeah, and you're also getting a very good special teams player. That has played special. Yeah, so that's a bonus. That's how I look at it. You're probably going to see him start on special teams in the beginning and work his way to that corner spot. It probably may happen, may not happen, but it's nice to have someone that, like you said, that's smart. That understands what to do in special. Not that special teams is a big deal anymore, because this kickoff thing is just ridiculous. So basically, it's just you run as fast as you can. That's it. Just run as fast.
Hey, and that's true, John. But man, that's another great point that I love you brought up. This kid has blocked 3 to 4 field goals in his
Yeah,
college career.
yeah,
So when you have a guy that not only can give you value on defense, but the special teams and can block field goals, that can win you a game. A blocked
yeah,
field goal can and will win you a game. So you never know when Darian Porter is going to have his moment and he's going to do something with it. And I'm just
yeah.
excited to see what he can do with it when
Yeah.
given that opportunity.
Yeah, you got an all around. You brought it up, but you do got an all around football player, so you can place him in different positions, and it's great. And I love the transition. That transition happens a lot, where you get a running back or a full. I'm sorry, a wide receiver that makes that transition to the defensive side of the ball. Maybe he didn't have the great hands that he needed to be a number 1 or number 2 or number 3 wide out, but he made the transition to the defensive end of the ball, and shit, from what I'm reading, it looks like he has some great fucking stats. So, great pick for you guys. Hey, we know
Yeah.
everybody's giving you guys an A- on your picks. So
Which never happens. Which
never
never
happens.
happens.
Never happens.
If you see multiple news outlets and sports coverage channels giving
Yeah,
us an A, that's how
yeah,
you know we actually deserve
yeah,
it and did a good
yeah.
job.
Yeah, because usually it's like, what the fuck? It's not a
Yeah,
rating, but that's what you usually got with the Raiders. What the fuck?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
The one last thing before we move on to the
yeah,
next
go
pick
ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
for Darian Porter that I like to point out is
Yeah,
one of the things we were slightly lacking on the defense, but specifically on the corner side,
yeah.
specifically is height.
Hyde.
Last year we had Jack Jones who was 6 foot, Nate Hobbs who was like 5'11", and Jacorian Bennett is only like 6 foot, almost 6'1" or 6'1". So now you also, you have a guy that's close to 6'3" on the corner to help add some height and some physicality to the team.
Yeah. You're right on, Jason. He has really done both him and Carroll's, and let's be honest, Brady as well. I think Brady has a lot of input in what's going on with the Raiders and as far as their picks. So I think the three of them together have made a difference, and you can just see it in this year's draft. And it just giving the Raiders an opportunity to win. And again, well, we've talked about it before on this show. It's probably the toughest the toughest conference in the AFC, and just trying to I said it early. I think Ray wants it as well. I think we all want it. I think Andre wants it and Bob wants it. Just somebody just knock the Chiefs out of that first place position, and that's all we want. That's all. Even if it's just one game, right, Ray? Even if it's just one game, just knock them out of that. If we can just stop them from winning the AFC West, it would be great. I think the whole NFL would love to see it for once.
100%, John. Everyone would love to
100%.
see it.
Uh,
Everyone in the AFC West, especially now, is a playoff contender.
it is
Jason brings up a
spot
great
on.
point to add to the topic you just brought up, John. What Jason pointed out. Any one of these teams can literally be a playoff because we are all playoff.
Yeah,
Last year, 3 of the 4 of our teams made it to the playoffs.
yeah,
This year, Raiders improved and have a chance to fight for the playoffs. That means realistically, we know 3 of our teams are playoff contending teams,
yeah,
and we could potentially be the 4th to make our whole division a playoff contending team.
yeah. It's
And
crazy.
you never know what can happen this year. With players taking step downs. Does Bo Nix have a sophomore slump?
Yeah,
Does the Chargers effect
just
of the first year from the head coaching
yeah,
dwindle a little bit? Do the
yeah.
Chiefs not have a typical Chiefs year that we all expect? There's so many different
He's
things that
got
can
to.
happen.
Patrick Mahomes has got to have one off season. He's got it. He
He's
can't keep
got to,
this
right?
roll.
Right.
He can't
Yeah,
keep
you're
this
right.
roll going.
Yeah.
I
And
can't.
so it just, even if don't think about it from that perspective of maybe one of the other teams has a down year, what if we just have a up year?
Yeah,
Again, you look at everything from our whole offseason as a whole, I don't care what anyone else says. We have a top 3 offseason in the whole league in terms of before the draft because of free agency and because of the draft.
Yeah.
You bring in some people in the front office that are competent, that make smart decisions. Tom Brady as a part, a percentage owner, a small owner, percentage owner of the Raiders now. So he has a voice. Pete Carroll said it himself. Tom was the reason Pete Carroll even considered really being the head coach of the Raiders.
Yeah.
So then, because of Brady's name, we get Pete Carroll, a very respected and a proven head coach. Then he brings in a GM like John Spytek, who's shown to work with a very intelligent GM. This year clearly shown that his first year as a GM can hit it out of the park.
Yeah.
Offensive coordinator. You actually pick up an offensive coordinator that can call some damn plays, and it doesn't look like the same 3 to 4 play calls out there the whole
game, exactly. Exactly.
So you improve at the head coach, you improve at the OC, you sign Geno, so you definitely improve over your quarterback, because last year I don't know what the hell that was.
Yeah.
So you improve in 3 vital positions right there. And that's just those three alone are huge.
Yeah, pieces. I think the Raiders also improved their O-line. So, I mean, even with this next pick, I think that their O-line has gotten better with the draft. I want to go real quick. Kansas City was 15-2 last year. Los Angeles Chargers 11-6. Denver Broncos 10-7, and the Raiders 4-13. I don't see a 4-13 season coming from the Raiders. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, can you imagine seeing all 4 of these teams with 10, 11 wins? It'd be nuts.
Man, it's look, we're gonna get into the schedule prediction here in a little bit later, but
that's coming up, baby. Caleb Rogers, O-line, Texas Tech, 6'4", big boy, 312 pounds. Played 9 games. Yeah. Your thoughts? Raiders make. I'm just trying to see some of his stuff. Honorable mention in All Big 12 Conference. Started all 13 games at right tackle. Honorable mention in 2024 Big 12. Started all 13 games. 2 at left guard, 1 at right guard, and 10 at right tackle. So you got a guy that it's diverse. He can play anywhere on the line. So that's nice to have. And I think it's a big improvement to that O-line. You're going to need to protect Geno Smith. Like you said, Geno's not a guy that wants to run, which is great too. I'm happy for that for the Raiders. Will he run? Yeah, he will run. He's not going to get you 15, 20 yards. He'll get you those 4 or 5 yards, but it's good to see that he's going to have some protection.
Yes, 100%. Like I said earlier, it was because of the trade that we made two times to allow us to even get this player. So John Spytek did an amazing job because of our new GM, allowing us to get 2 more picks, and we decided to go back-to-back on the O-line, which you guys will see next. And I love that we did that. Something I want to point out about Caleb Rogers is if you go and look at his film, or if you see just the way across the league, the way that people view Texas Tech and their O-line, Texas Tech had a terrible O-line. So Caleb Rogers was the best player on that O-line. So when you have everyone on that line that is just terrible, and you have one player fighting to defend in every position and just do all he can, of course he's not going to look as good because the whole line doesn't look good. But when you pay close enough attention and you watch reps and you look at the fact that he's been healthy enough to play and start the past 2 years, that's a guy that you want. He's been healthy the past 2 years. He can start and has started every game. He's shown he can be rotated on the line if needed. And again, he was the best offensive line on that team. And standing at 6'4", or closer to the 6'5" side, 312 pounds, this is a beautiful depth piece, and he can work his way to a potential starter to this team.
Yeah. Yeah, Geno needs protection, boy. He's going to need protection. Yeah, he's like we said, he's not known for scrambling. He will scramble, but he will still look for the pass. That's the difference between Geno Smith and Lamar Jackson and some of the other Patrick Mahomes.
Yes.
Yeah, he's more of a Patrick. That's what I was thinking. He's more of a Patrick Mahomes. Patrick will scramble, but he's always looking for somebody. And I think you get a little bit of the same with Geno. You know, Geno's going to scramble, but he's going to stay on this side of the offensive scrimmage line and make sure he can still throw the ball.
That's spot on, John.
Yeah, Charles Grant on pick number 35 out of William Mary, 6'4", 300, another big boy, 311 pounds. 2024 first team Associate Press FCS All-American first team All Coast Athletic Association. Started all 12 games at left tackle. Donated bone marrow in the spring of 2023 for a 29-year-old with Hopkins. I can never say that last word.
Lymphoma. Yeah.
Nice. I didn't know that. Yeah, that's cool that they put that in there. That's cool. They put that in
awesome. There. That is awesome.
Good for you, man. Good for you. That's painful too, bud. I don't know if you know how painful.
Your spine.
That's painful, dude. Now they draw marrow out of your bone, dude. That hurts, dude. They dig in your bone, dude, with a drill. Good for you, Charles. I like you already. I don't care what you did in your collegiate career. I already like you, bud.
That's a good man. That's a good man right there.
You saved someone's life, dude.
Yeah. I think the main thing that I would like to point out about Charles Grant is he's an offensive tackle, and I think there's a good chance that currently right now, Colton Miller, our starting left tackle, is up for contract. So whether we don't pay Colton Miller or we do, but in the next couple of years we need the next guy up, Charles Grant could potentially be our next guy up for the left tackle position. So
add some depth to the offensive line. Yeah,
add some depth. Potential. A couple of years to learn, grow, maybe a rotational piece, and then by the next couple of years after Colton's contract, he can be the guy that can start for us. You never know. But like you said, at the minimum, he's a good depth piece. And like Jason pointed out earlier, you can never go wrong with too many O-line in your depth.
All right, number 6, Mr. Ray Thornton Jr. Let's see what we got here. Led the team with 661 receiving yards on 26 receptions, 6 receiving touchdowns. Led the FBS with 25.4. That's decent. Wow. 25.4 yards per reception. Nice. Jesus. Tennessee does throw the ball. Tennessee does throw the ball long.
Look at what you just pointed out, though.
Yeah.
Last year, with only 26 receptions, John, he had 661 receiving yards.
Yeah, I know. That's why I was shocked, dude. That's insane numbers right there, dude.
Averaging 25.4 yards a reception is ridiculous.
And he's tall, 6'4", 205. He's a big boy.
This guy can, like I pointed out earlier, you have a Jacoby, you have Brock, you have Genty. These guys do most of their damage up close in the first 15 to 20 yards of the field.
Exactly.
If you keep moving the chains and you force them to stack the box and they move up, like how I said earlier, it allows Geno to unleash the ball. And when you have a guy that has serious one-on-one win capability with being close to 6'5" and runs a 4.2 40, that type of speed and height, you can either get him with a deep ball or just a straight up 50-50 ball. And more likely than not, he's going to come down with it or you're getting a flag because this guy's so tall and so fast, he's going to get open.
Yeah, you're right too, Jason. I think so.
I know Pete was thinking of DK when Raiders drafted this guy. 100%. Yeah, no, this is definitely like that DKS type pick.
Hold on a
that
second.
Pete Carroll had out there.
Hold on, caller. I will put you through.
There you go.
All right, caller, can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you. Can you hear me?
There you go. Welcome to our first caller.
Hell yeah. First caller.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. All right. So, John, first of all, I don't like Creed.
Oh, Jesus, he's gonna go Creed. Arms
But
wide open.
you guys got all the stats and all the numbers. I'm more of a vibe kind of guy, and I just got a good feeling for the Raiders this year, man. It's not about jumping on any ship or bandwagon. I just always believe in signs, and I've been getting a lot of signs lately pointing that direction. So I'm just gonna throw in my 2 cents, and I think they're gonna take it this year.
I'm with you. I got that vibe last year, and I paid for it. But I think this year is a little different. I was I think I was the only one of all four of us that had the Raiders winning 10 games last year. And I believed in it. I really did. I thought that they had the pieces that they needed. I mean, a lot of things happened. Devontae left. Their team morale went down in the toilet. I think a lot of things happened for them.
Injuries.
Injuries,
oh my God.
exactly.
Tied
Injuries.
for the second most team injured in the league is crazy.
Yeah. So, but this year, I think with the draft and the new GM and the new coach and Brady being more of a piece of the Raiders and deciding on, I want to believe. I don't know if you do, Art, but I'm Ray, but I want to believe that Brady was part of this draft on decision making on players. I think his input had a lot to do with the way they went in this draft. I mean, do you feel like that, Art and Ray?
I mean, yeah, 100%. I know Brady had a part in this, but I like to just point out, hey, even though the fact that Art may not, like you said, he doesn't know the stats and the players like that. If he's seeing these signs and he's getting these vibes and that type of energy, I love to see it. I love to hear it. I'll take as much of those good vibes and those good signs as possible. Because with what we had last year, I needed a good up season. I need something good to happen this year, and I believe it's going to.
Ray, Art, your thoughts, Art. Will you be wearing silver and black to work?
To work.
I think we lost Art. Art, are you still there, Art? Put the drink down, Art. Put the drink down. Put the blunt down. And I think we lost Art.
Lost Art.
And Art, you left at the perfect time because I was actually looking up the lyrics to "Arms Wide Open." I was going to sing it. So
this guy.
You left just in time, brother. We're going to say goodbye to Art. Bye, Art. No, I think I really do believe that. I don't know if he was a huge part of this far down in the draft. I mean, what are your thoughts? Do you think he was part of the conversation when you start getting down to the fifth pick? I would even go as far like the fourth, fifth, sixth pick. Do you think he still was part of that conversation on how the Raiders went?
Yeah, no, I think they had their eyes on Dante Thornton. Something that I realized in this draft is Spytech and the guys that he has and trusts, they do a great job at evaluating some underrated talent and players at certain small schools and certain systems that you may not expect these players to be good because they're in the systems that they're in. And Dante Thornton is one of those receivers. A lot of players or a lot of people want to talk about the fact that he doesn't look like he has the most polished route tree, or he doesn't have the biggest route tree out there. But if you realize, or if you watch Tennessee, that's what they do. They run the same plays for offense.
Yeah, they do. It's Eric Cornell out there.
It is. So it doesn't do these receivers any favors. Now, if you look at his tape for the 2 years he was at Oregon, now that's a different player right there. They had him running all types of different routes, and he had all other type of balls that he was catching because of how he was getting open. So I think because of, again, the system he was in, it didn't do him any favor, but it did us a favor with allowing him to slide down a little bit. And now he can be the guy that we have a speedster right now, but he's on the short end. He's like 5'10". Now you have a guy that's just as fast as him, but way taller at 6'5". So I love the fact that now we have some size. Like I mentioned earlier, we didn't have the tallest receivers either last year. Again, Jacoby Myers, like I said, is like 6'1". Trey
Yeah.
Tucker is like 5'10". Devontae was gone at that point. So last year, like we just needed some size.
Yeah, you needed size. I think too, like what I've noticed over the years with the, I hate saying the smaller wide receiver, and 6'1", 6'2" is not small compared to the average human being. But I think with the smaller guys that are like in that 5'10", 6 foot range, they're more elusive. They're quicker. They get off tackles a lot easier, and especially the way the new system is now with the in the NFL, as far as how you tackle. I think having that more nimble guy that's a little smaller package, the 5'10", 6 footer that's got the speed and can be elusive and can break tackles. I think that's the route, the way the NFL has been going the last few years. But I think it has a lot to do with the penalties and the way. The way you cover a wide receiver today is a lot different than it was in the 70s and 80s. So I think having that more quick, nimble, shorter guy that can break tackles and have speed. But yeah, it's nice to see that we start seeing some guys that are like Randy Moss height, just big guys, fucking tall monster guys that can catch the ball with one fucking hand. It still blows me away. Still blows me away. Still blows me away.
Like Jason said a second ago, is some of the best players are not the best route runners. If Dante Thornton doesn't have to be the best route runner to me, if you make him run the same 3 to 4 routes, I don't care, because this guy's so fast, he's gonna beat you. He's so tall that he's gonna outman you at the top of the ball. So if we could just incorporate play calls and play designs that gets the ball thrown to him in a 50-50 jump ball, or he runs 5 in and runs across the middle of the field, he's so fast he's going to beat you. So
yeah, that's one thing that we really didn't get to see a lot of last year, and the Raiders are always known for the deep ball. But it's hard when your quarterback's running for his fucking life. Raiders have always been known for that deep ball. I mean, you go back all the way to the 70s. They've always been that team that won at the Olympic speedster wide receiver, that ran a crazy 40 and a crazy 100, and just go deep and we'll throw you the ball. But yeah, like we didn't see a lot of that last year. Brock, Brock was always good for that middle 5 to 10, 15 yards. But the difference between Brock got you that 10 yards and then got you another 10. So he was difficult to tackle. So, but you don't have 4 Brock Purdys. So you have to have some sort of deep threat to make the defense honest.
You always talk about Beanie and Brock Bowers.
Yeah. What's that?
Okay, because you said Brock Purdy. You said Brock Purdy for a second.
I got Purdy on the thing here. Hold on here. Go ahead, caller. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah. Who's this?
Hey, John. This is the one and only.
Who is the one and only? Julian.
No. Bill's
Jason.
fan.
Oh, it's Jason. God, you sound different live, Jason. Holy crap.
Yeah. Now I figured I had a call. I wanted to expand on what Art was talking about.
Go ahead. Hit me with
it. He was talking about vibes, and honestly, there is a new vibe about this Raiders team. A new aura.
Yeah.
The entire West Coast can feel.
Yeah. Yeah, no. I think you're like all of us. We just want to see some team knock the Chiefs off that plateau, just for once, 1 year.
Yeah, Chiefs, AFC West have some real competition this year.
Yeah.
Especially with the Chargers, Broncos. Now Raiders are looking pretty hot, man. And got Pete Carroll, Tom Brady. It's going to be good.
It's going to be a good season. I think the expectations are I don't know. I don't want to say high because or don't get mad at me, Ray. Because I think Raider fans have gotten I don't want to say used to just the norm, here we go, and just hope to God they win 5-6 games. But I think the expectation from Raiders fans this year, because of the acquisitions in the draft and the coaching staff, the GM and Brady being part of it, I think you're right. I think the expectations for the Raiders are high. So I hope that they live up to that. Because I don't think Raider fans are going to be too happy with another 5-10 or 5-12 season. It's not.
No.
Heads will roll, Jason.
And we'll be positive in wins.
Yeah, I think you have a question for Ray?
Let me think.
Hit him hard, Jason. Hit him hard.
Realistically, how many yards or touchdowns Jack Besh gets in his rookie season?
Ooh,
that's good.
It's just a random guess.
So just touchdowns. That's the only thing you want me to guess is the touchdowns.
Touchdowns or yards or both.
Receive. Okay. I think
overall his rookie season.
I think it's a little bit of blend of realistically what I think he's going to get, and also what I expect him to get. It's almost a 2-in-1. So I think receiving yards, total yards, I think he's going to have a 600-yard season. And then I think touchdown-wise, I can see him getting 5 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I'd say that's pretty realistic. For me, I'd say, 600, but I want to put him a little bit above in touchdowns. I want to say 7.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that.
We can't have Jason on and not do a little Bills talk, Mr. Yeah, Jason, your expectations for the Bills this year. Let's hear it now live on the air.
Well, the expectation is really high. We draft a new speedster cornerback, first round, Maxwell Hairston from Kentucky.
Yeah.
Drafted a ton of other talented players. And, being the caliber of a team that the Bills are, especially in offense, now we built up that defense. Plus, the new schedule release is very favorable for the Bills.
Yeah, it was.
I think this year could be a potential Super Bowl year. If we can get over the Ravens or Chiefs, I think we're going to the Super Bowl.
That's what I was going to ask you. The next question: do you feel, as any team in your division made that jump, that you feel that made that jump, that it's going to give you a little pressure this year?
Well, the Dolphins they've been a competition. I know 2 seasons ago for sure. They've been a playoff contending team, but I think the biggest jump in AFC East, the way I look at it, I'd say Patriots. I think Drake May has gotten the best help that he can get out of the draft. Hopefully Josh McDaniels, Mike Vrabel, or his guy. Well, hopefully not. I mean, I want the Bills to beat them, but you get what I mean.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you got a what do you got? You got a 5-game difference between you and the Bills. Do you think? Between you and Miami, do you think Miami's made enough changes to make up those 5 games? Because I'm sure Ray and I both, they'll win 13 games again this year.
Who, Dolphins?
Yeah.
No,
Bills.
Yeah. Oh, Bills.
Oh yeah, no. I definitely think Bills win 12 games at least this year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, do it at least.
Yeah,
at least, exactly.
And you got a huge stretch between fucking New England winning 4 games and even coming anywhere near 13 wins. If you were to take last year with the Bills being 13-4, you had Miami at 8 and 8-9, and then you had 5 wins for you had not even 5 wins. I take that back. Shit, the Jags.
4 wins for the Patriots.
Yeah, 4. No, it was 4 wins for the Jacksonville Jaguars and 3 wins for the. Oh wait, I'm on the wrong one. I apologize.
Yeah, no, it's Jets, Dolphins.
Yeah,
Patriots,
I apologize. It skipped on me. Yeah, it skipped on me. Yeah, you had Miami at 8-9, the Jets at 5-12, and New England at 4-13. So yeah, I mean, it's pretty much another win for the Bills in that division. But
Yes, I believe so too. But the most improved team, I'd say, other than the Bills, are Patriots, and I think the Dolphins will be a potential contender, but we'll see.
Yeah,
and Jets, Jets are Jets. So.
Yeah, you can't say Jets without spelling it like the fans. Jets.
Yeah.
No, it's going to be an interesting year for the AFC East, and but Jets, I don't see
flying out of AFC East contention.
Yeah, I don't see anybody making up that gap. That gap, I mean, between the Bills and everybody else, other than the Dolphins. I don't know. Do you see the Jets, going from 5 to 10 wins?
5 to 10 wins. I think they'll be worse.
Yeah, and New England.
I think they will be worse.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting year. I just, for me, and I know that I know I speak for every other any NFL fan that's out there. We just want to see somebody knock out the Chiefs. That's all we want to see.
Yes, that is definitely one of the ultimate goals.
Yeah. Do you let me ask you a quick question too on Kansas City. Do you feel that do you feel Kansas City can win 15 games next year? You think they're going to get the same? I hate saying it. I don't want to be that conspiracy guy, Jason, but do you feel they're going to get those calls again this year?
It's really tough to say, because especially towards the end of last season, you had a lot of controversy, of course, about the refs and flags, but I do see them.
You see them winning
15? 15 wins.
Ooh.
I think they'll always be playoff contending, Super Bowl contending team with Patrick Mahomes, but I don't see them going undefeated for as long as they did last season.
Yeah. Well, shit. Some of those games were just so close and so stupid, and just come down to a
lot of it did come
down to sketchy
phantom calls.
sketchy.
Mahomes was working his magic, but
yeah. No. I know that's why I think that the NFL, and I don't want to blame the referees, because I think the referees are just kind of, you do what you're told kind of people, and I hope that the NFL is seeing what the controversy that was called from those KC games, and make sure that this year we don't get that same nonsense. And because I personally don't see him winning 15 games. I really don't. I just, maybe it's just me. I don't like to see someone get hurt, but Patrick Mahomes got to have one off season. He's got to have one off season.
Off season or lucky?
He's got an injury coming soon. Either season ending, or at least taking him out for a couple games at the very least.
Yeah. And I think that's all it would take, is a couple games.
That could honestly derail their season.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting season. Hey, Jason, thanks for the call, man. We appreciate it.
Of course.
Yeah, Ray,
it is a pleasure.
Ray, give him a
Go Raiders.
Go Raiders from Jason.
Love to see it, Jason. Love to see it.
Are you, and Ray, I never asked you this question, so I'll ask you two AFC guys. Is it my team wins it all, or I'm happy if an AFC team wins the Super Bowl? Are you, which one are you? Are you always Raiders need to win the Super Bowl, or are you still content when an AFC team wins the Super Bowl?
Well,
for me,
I'm never content when the Chiefs win.
I'm never content.
In their AFC, so I guess I'd really prefer that really anyone other than the Chiefs or Patriots go into the Super Bowl at all. Winning it or not, just at all going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. How about you, Ray? Is it Raiders or win it all or nothing at all?
For me, look, I think the fact that I know there's realistic expectations, right, and you know what your team's capable of, like your
Yeah.
ceiling. I know when your team's only so good, how far you can go. So if I know we're only going to get so far, of course I'm going to root for us. Of course I want us to win every game. Of course
Yeah.
I would love if we
Yeah.
are the team that makes the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But I know I'm also realistic, and if I know if we're not one of those teams that are capable of making it that far, I like watching all the teams out there in the league. So
Yeah.
if there's another team out there, not named Kansas City, of course I'm gonna root for them. I'm gonna like the Bills, Ravens. For me personally, those are two teams that I would love to see win it from the AFC. That's
Yeah.
me personally.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I root for both of those teams when it comes to playoff time, and if it's AFC Championship and beating the Chiefs.
Yeah. All right, Jason. Thank you, brother.
All right, thank you, John.
All
Thank
right.
you, Ray.
All right, go Bills.
Later, Jason.
Yeah,
Go Bills.
See ya.
We'll talk Bills on this show someday. I promise you that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will. All right, let's get into this. We're going to get into Purdy real quick, and then real quick, and then we're going to jump into our predictions. New details of his contract came out today or yesterday. I was not surprised to see this. I think this is a new trend that's going on in the NFL, especially when it comes to quarterbacks, and that's the no trade clause. Are you surprised that was added to that contract?
No, because I think, like you just pointed out, it's one of those new things that's being implemented in those contracts with quarterbacks. So, not surprised.
Yeah, I think it's a smart move for Purdy. Look, you're gonna say if Andre was here, he's gonna say you just hate the Niners, and the Niners have been known for that team that will get rid of you 2 years before your career is done. And I think Purdy's seen the way the Niners have got. I mean, they traded Joe Montana. Of all the fucking players to trade off, Joe Montana. So I think he's seen that. I think it's a smart move for any player because you don't know where you're going to end up. And, when you give the team that much power to make a trade and like that, what ends up happening 99.9% of the times is you're going to a bad team. Because that's the only team that still sees some hope or future for you. Or if you get lucky, you got a team that's maybe a quarterback away from making it to the playoffs and the Super Bowl, and you see that type of trade, that works out great. But more than often, you're ending up on going to a team like the Cleveland Browns or the Jets, the Giants. So smart move with him. All right, were you surprised at the big money though? Were you surprised that puts him, I think, top 5, Dre? I think.
I know for sure he's top 8, top 7 for sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
I was definitely, I can't say surprised. That's not the word I would use because I'm not surprised that they decided to pay him the amount they paid him. But I wouldn't have put it that high. I would have paid him a little less, but I guess it's hard when you're in a situation where if I don't pay this guy, then what do we have? So especially when you're an organization that is so huge in the NFL, Niners, Cowboys, Raiders, like when you have Patriots, when you have teams that are like that, their whole team, their fan base, the organization, it affects them big if they don't have winning seasons, So I think it was one of those scenarios where they knew if they don't sign him now, there's no guarantee that they have anything else to take his place to help them be a playoff contention team. Because without Purdy, they're not a playoff contention team. That's the reality.
Yeah. I think too, you're right on, spot on. I think too, whether some people believe it or not, I think GMs and teams and coaches, I think, look down the road in the future when it comes to college players, and they can see that, hey, there's not a quarterback coming up for another number one quarterback coming out for another 5-6 years. You know what I mean? I think that process is also in the back of their heads. So and I think they also know who's going to be a free agent, who's not going to be a free agent, who's tradable from other NFL teams. And I think when you look at that picture down the road, it makes sense giving Purdy that money. And let's be honest, he's put up great numbers. If you look at his stats, you can't argue with what you see when you look at his stats, what he's done for the Niners, getting into the Super Bowl, MVP, All Pro Bowl, accuracy like nobody's business. And again, we talked about it. He's a system quarterback. We know that he's a system quarterback, but he fits your system. So why would you get rid of him? Give him the money, keep him there, see what he gives you. And, I think it was a smart move. I didn't think it was going to happen. Did you? I thought he was going to play that last year of his contract. I really thought he was like halfway through it. I thought halfway through next year that somehow, some way they find a deal.
I think because of the mass haul of players that they lost during the offseason, that they chose not to re-sign or extend contracts. Yeah. I think because of that, I kind of had an idea that they were going to decide to extend Purdy during this offseason.
Yeah.
By allocating the money that they weren't going to spend on other players towards their quarterback instead. I just wasn't sure, how soon. I didn't think it'd be this soon, and I didn't think it'd be this much. But again, you got to think about your situation and what's the alternative. So it makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, he didn't. I was trying to think today when I woke up. Did he miss any games this year? Last year, I'm not a 49 follower, so I can't really say if he missed a lot of games last year or if he was hurt. But I don't remember him being hurt at all the prior year before that. I think he had a thumb injury, maybe. I really don't see him being that quarterback that's that's hurt sitting on the sidelines while the backup starts a game or two. So I think that's good for the Niners. I think they looked at that. The injuries are important, especially when it's your quarterback. But let me see if I can pull up this one stat, which kind of blew me away. And I think it was his numbers. I can't find it, but that's fine. Well, let me pull this up. This is going to be fun right here, guys. And we're going to be honest, right, Mr. Ray, when we pick these?
Of course, 100%.
Yeah, we're going to go with not, what we believe, this, our gut feeling, not loyalty to the Raiders. I'm not a Raiders fan. Yeah. So, but again, I picked them to win 10 games last year.
Hey, me and you both were sipping on that crazy Kool-Aid. So
yeah, we were both. All right, let me open this up. All right, let me share it so you can see it as well, Ray. Hold on there. All right, we're not going to do preseason games.
No.
Let's go. And hold on, let me mark this, Ray. Hold on, I got to mark it so I can go back and know where it's at in the section so I can save them and write them down later. Hold on.
Yeah.
So we are at the 137 mark. 137 mark. All right, Ray. We've got the Raiders and the Patriots.
Man, this is actually a game that I am very happy is our first game of the season because they're another team that during the offseason, they got a new head coach.
Yeah.
They got a new offensive coordinator. So, they added some pieces to make them competitive. So I think this is a really good team for us to see what we're made of week one.
Yeah, week one.
But I think it's going to be close, but I think we still take this. I think we take this game.
Yeah, I go with the W as well with this game. Chargers Raiders September 15. So the Chargers at home, right?
Monday night. Yep. Monday. Yeah. This is our home opener. It's a Monday night game. Mm-hmm. I'm so happy that the league did this for us. That our home opener is a Monday night game against our division rivals.
Yeah.
Yep. And I'm also glad that we get to play them as early as we are because, again, with it being a new season, we know everyone in this division is playoff a contender. So playing one of our division rivals early, giving us a chance to see what we got against them, I like. And again, since this is a Monday night opener, we get 1 day extra to rest.
Yep.
And Pete Carroll's played against Harbaugh many times before.
Many times,
I think this is one of those games where last year we did not have all of our fans at our home games. You know, we were selling our tickets, and I think this is going to be a different game and different season. I think it's going to be filled out. You know, the Raiders, the Black Hole, everyone's going to be there. And I think we're going to show out big for our first home game, Monday night opener, and take this win.
Nice. Yeah. I think this is going to be close. I'm going to this is tough, man. I don't know what Chargers team we're going to see. You know, are we going to see the Chargers team from last year, or are we going to see the Chargers team from 2 years ago? You know, so I don't know. I'm going to go with don't hate me, but I'm going with the L. I'm going with the loss.
Hey,
on this one.
That's fine. I think we split. I think we split. So
yeah. I think you're right, though. I think this is a good game for them right after the Patriots, because I think they win big with the Patriots. And I think coming in and having a division rival, I think it's going to set the tone for the Raiders to see where they're at as far as moving forward throughout the season. So I think it's good that they get the Chargers. They get a team that they played close with in the last couple of years. They've been close games. They haven't been blowouts. So, but I somehow, some way, I'm going to go the Chargers winning by a field goal, and I think that's one of the things you may agree or disagree with me. They still haven't really solidified a field goal kicker, and I think that's going to may come back to hurt the Raiders. I really do. I think that's a key part that they missed. Yeah,
our kicker's been good the past couple of years, except last year. You literally look at the past 4 or 5 years. He's been really good. It was just last year where he had a couple of misses. But I do agree that I do agree that if we're not careful and he doesn't have his stuff together this year, there can be games that we can lose or be behind because of missed field goals.
Yeah, and you're right. He last year was an off season for him, but you know what? What's funny is last year was an off season for a lot of field goal kickers, which was very weird.
Justin Tucker, the Ravens. He ended up retiring after this year. And what happened this year? He had the worst season he ever had as a kicker.
Yeah. I really like that the first game the Raiders.
Yeah, exactly. I think Jason brings up like I said, he brings up a great point. I think for NFL fans, you know, watching two of the most improved teams during the offseason go at it is going to be interesting.
Well, so let's go Raiders Commanders, Ray. Raiders Commanders. Tough game.
Look,
if we see the same Commanders from last year, tough game.
This team, man, we're on the road.
Yeah.
We're against a team that has shown some big growth with Jaden Daniels at the helm.
Yeah.
I think this is, this is a loss. This is a loss.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you too there. I really do. But again, we don't know. We don't know. Don't get angry at us out there.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting game. Again, do we see the sophomore jinx? I don't know. Maybe, it's possible, we may see a whole different Commanders team next year. I mean, did you feel they played out of character last year?
I think yes, but I think that's just what happens when you get a quarterback that can lead your team and is capable of making the plays that needs to be made. Your team is going to look so different. And you also think about the fact that they did also have a new head coach. They also got a new offensive coordinator. So, of course, their team is going to look a lot different when you get a new head coach, offensive coordinator, and quarterback who's playing at a top 4, top 5 elite level in the league already. So, I definitely think they're legit. I think it definitely was surprising how big of a jump they made, but I think they're the real deal. So that's a loss.
Yeah. All right, Bears and Raiders.
Man, I went over this game back and forth because I feel like there's certain games that the Raiders have a good chance at winning.
Yeah.
But I think there's just those certain games where we have a chance, but something's just going to happen where you think you have a chance and you think you can win it, but you're just going to end up losing it. I think that's this game. I think
Oh.
we end up losing this Bear game. I think it'll be a fun, competitive game. It's going to be very interesting to see what Caleb looks like at week 3 or week
Yeah.
4, rather.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it'll be close, but I think the Bears take it.
All right, I'm going with the Raiders win here on this one.
Okay.
I am.
Now I won't be surprised. Now I will not be surprised if
One
we do
thing the
manage
Bears,
to win
the
this
one
game,
thing the
though.
Bears, yeah, one thing the Bears haven't been able to do, and if I may be wrong on this, but they haven't been able to stop the run. And I think if the running game by this time, I think the running game should be established with the Raiders. And like I said, he's a 2-weapon running back in my book. If he can run the ball and catch out of the backfield, I think this is a game where it solidifies whether or not he's going to be that guy for you guys. And I think with the Bears having such a not so great defensive line, I think they run all over them. So I'm going to go with the Raiders winning this game. Raiders Colts. Go ahead.
To add real quick to what you just pointed out, John, I think that's a great point because I think if we lose that game, Caleb has to be the reason we lose the game. I don't think it's anything else. I think the only way we lose that game is if Caleb has a hell of a game and takes that game into his own hands. Otherwise, I agree with you. I don't know. I think there's always a game where as a fan, or maybe it's just me specifically as a Raider fan, where I think we can win it and have a shot, but I just know we're somehow going to find a way to lose it, and that's why I put that one as our loss.
Yeah, the only reason I got them is I think the Bears defense was just so fucking horrible last year. I mean, and I just pulled up the stats on them: 27th in yards allowed. They also had the they had the high yards per game average at 30. They gave up so many fucking yards last year, and the high yard per passing play 31st, so the worst when it came to the pass. So, so for me, I think that's what's going to hurt the Bears. I don't think they did anything to improve that defense. So I think the Raiders win that game. I think they run all over those Bears. I really do.
Okay. I like it, John. I like it.
Yeah. See, even our Bills fan out there thinks the Raiders win that game.
Jason thinks the Raiders win it too.
Yeah. Raiders Colts.
So Raiders Colts. This is again. This is a game we're traveling. We're gonna travel to Indianapolis, but I think we have the quarterback advantage here. No matter what, we have the quarter.
Yeah.
There's certain games on this schedule that I'm breaking down and I'm looking at. Do we have the quarterback advantage? Do we have the head coach advantage?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say yes to both of those for this game, and because of that, I'm taking that as a Raiders win.
Yeah, I'm taking the Raiders win again. Another defense that hasn't improved. I don't think did anything in the draft to improve. They were 29th in total defense last year. They averaged 361 yards allowed per game, the lowest, 24th most points, 427 in the league. So again, I think again with the Raiders, the improvements that they made, and not just as far as the O-line and the wide receivers and the running backs and Brock Purdy. No, I didn't say it. No, I'm sorry. I almost said it again, dude. Why am I getting those two guys mixed up, man? Why?
It's the contract.
Yeah, I'm going with the win with the Colts as well. Titans. Your thoughts on the Titans, right?
Again, this is another game where they have a new head coach.
Yeah.
They have a new quarterback.
Yeah.
This is like week 5, week 6, I think week 6. So it's still early in the season.
Yeah.
I think Cam Ward's going to be a good quarterback, but just like most, he's going to take time to adjust. I think he's not going to be completely ready for this game. I think Geno outshines him, and I just think we simply have a better offense than they do this game. So I'm taking that as a Raiders win.
Yeah, and this is finally a defense that's ranked number 2 in the NFL. So this is going to be a tough game, I think, for the Raiders. But I think,
Titans,
yeah,
really?
yeah, number 2 in passing.
Okay.
Yeah, passing yards allowed 177 yards. They are ranked. So it'll be interesting. I got them winning just because I want them to win. How's that?
I'll take it.
No, I just Tennessee to me, it's just one of those teams that they just know they find ways to lose. You know what I mean, Ray? When I say that,
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, and it's just really stupid
And
penalties.
I think with them having a new head coach, that's not going to help them with finding ways to lose. There's going to be so many moments where the right call is not made, the timeout's not called, or you don't go for it, or all these situations where I just think that, like you pointed out, they're going to just find a way to lose certain games, and I think we take that game.
Yeah, here we go. Raiders Chiefs, October 19th, 10 a.m.
Man, look. Of course, I would love to take a win here, but this is a game where we're on the road.
I'm splitting these 2 games with them.
Exactly. I'm splitting. I think I'm splitting all these divisional games. I think this is the game where we lose. We've had a pretty good beginning of the season, but we're still gelling to get to where our offense really needs to go, and I think our defense as well. Our team as a whole, we're going to be improving. We're going to be competitive, but improving. And the Chiefs have their stuff together. They've proven they're Super Bowl contenders and winners. So they're going to take this game. I think they take this game. Chiefs do.
Yeah. Ranked 9th in the defense, allowing 320 yards per game. They were also ranked 13 in points allowed, allowing an average of 218.8 points per game. So, I don't know. Do you feel like they've improved in any way in the draft in any of the defensive positions? I know they went hard on offense, which they had to do. People are leaving the Chiefs like I'm trying to come up with a good expression, but they're leaving the Chiefs like the plague is there.
Yeah, they're dropping like flies up there.
They're either retiring, Ray. They're either retiring or they're going to another team. So, it's just weird to see when you got Patrick Mahomes,
I don't think the Chiefs improved this offseason. If anything, I think they slightly got worse. Now, the main reason I'm going to say that is because they lost the best starting offensive lineman that they had on that team.
Yeah.
And last year, everyone saw, or this year rather, I guess, but last season, they saw in the Super Bowl, that O-line got ate up, destroyed. And you're trading away the best offensive lineman you have that was defending you out there in that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy to see what this new O-line looks like without Joe Thuney and see what type of pressure the D-line's able to get on Patrick Mahomes now.
And he's got to lose some speed, right, Ray? He's getting older. He's got to get slower. God damn it.
He's got to, man.
His instincts got to get slower, too. I mean, he can't be up there all the time. So what are you going? Loss or win?
Yeah, I'm going a loss here. I just think Andy Reid has this team too well coached up. Patrick Mahomes is too good of a quarterback, of a time manager, decision maker, and I think they're gonna find a way. I think we're gonna make it fun and interesting.
It's a home game too, so you gotta go. You gotta give yeah. Hey, but here's my thing though with this game, and this is how I'm thinking. And I think if I got them losing as well, but I think if the Raiders can stay close in the fourth quarter and not give Patrick Mahomes 56 seconds or 1 minute, I don't know how much time you can actually give this motherfucker that he doesn't come back. I think 3 seconds is even too much, right? Sometimes, but I think if the Raiders,
honestly,
again, I think if they can keep this game close, I think they got a shot at winning this game. I think just from pure talent and what they brought to this into this draft and the players that they have. Again, I think it's going to come down to what we talked about earlier: is your kicker can he kick a 56-yard field goal to win a game? In the fourth quarter, and hopefully he's not the same he was last year. But I'm you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put a question mark here. I'm going question
Okay,
mark.
come back to it. Okay,
Yeah,
I
I'm
like
gonna
that.
go question mark because I think if they can stay close, I think they can beat them, and it's going to come down to a field goal. I think.
I think we split with them though, no matter what.
Yeah. We're splitting with
I
them.
think we split with them because even last year there was a game less than 15 seconds on the clock.
Right.
We're gonna kick a field goal and we would have won that game, and
Yep.
the Chiefs would have had less than like 10 seconds.
Yep.
And we would have had the lead, but all because of a bad snap, the ball's turned over. So I think, again, if we were able to win a game like that last year with the Aiden O'Connell, Gardner Minshew that we had out there, and the offensive players and all the injuries that we have to be able to win another one this year because essentially that would have been a win. So
that's what I'm looking at. Yeah, that's what I'm looking at as far as this game. If they can stay close in the fourth quarter, be down maybe a field goal or even a touchdown, I think they can win this game. Let's go Jags and Raiders. I'm going W. I'm just going to say it right now.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm going to agree. I think this is a W, and I think because we have the bye week before this game,
right.
So I think because we have the extra time off to rest, the extra time to game plan for this team, and I think because it's still early in Travis Hunter's career, that he's still going to be getting used to both sides of the one side he's playing. I think it's going to be good, but he's still going to be getting it completely, trying to get it down. And I think we have the quarterback advantage there. So I'm gonna take the Raiders there.
All right, Raiders Broncos. Woo! Raiders Broncos. Does he throw 5 touchdowns? Does he throw 6 touchdowns? I don't know.
I just know I'm going to hate this game because it's a short week. It's a Thursday night, so we have a short week. I think the Broncos take it for the fact that it is a short week. We only get so much time to rest and only so much time to game plan for them. So I'm going to give this one to the Broncos. That defense is legit, man.
Yeah, 7th ranked in the defense in the NFL, averaging 317 yards per game. They also ranked 3rd in scoring defense, allowing an average of 63 points per game. So they're scoring on both ends of the ball. So this is tough, but I'm going with the L as well. I'm going with an L. I think this is a tough game, but I think an important game too.
It is an very important game. I think this is one of those games where there's a couple games here that if you want even a chance for the playoffs or to be fighting for the playoffs, where there's certain games you gotta win in this schedule. For me personally, that's one of those games. I think the Jags versus the Raiders game, earlier in the year, I think the Titans versus Raiders, that's another one of those games. Like there's certain games later on we play the Giants. There's certain games if you really want to potentially be a playoff team and be fighting on that edge of playoff, where you have to win those games.
You got to win
have
those
favorable matchups. Yeah.
Cowboys and the Raiders. How about them Cowboys?
Them Cowboys, man.
This is tough because we don't know this is late in the season, November. We don't know what kind of Dallas Cowboys team is going to be out there. So this is a tough game. I mean, this is it's not a tough game. I think it's just a hard one to pick.
It can go either way.
Yeah, it can go either way. And this will be in Vegas as well. So you know what?
Real quick,
I'm doing it. I'm saying W, Ray. I'm saying W, Ray.
There we go. There we go. I'm gonna say this. I think this is definitely going to be a close game for the fact that both of these teams know, and the NFL and for the franchises and for the fan base, this is a big game. I think this game is going to be one of the most expensive tickets, one of the most sold out games this year for a regular season. But for the fact that we get extra time for this game to prepare for it, because it's a Monday night game.
Monday night game,
the last week before that we played the Thursday, so we get about 10 to 11 days to rest and prepare.
Yeah, November 6th to November 17th. Yeah.
So with the rest time that we get, the fact that we know this is a fan organization must win type game.
Yeah.
And it's a Monday night at home game. I think this is a Raiders win. I think we take this.
All right. I got the W2. All right. Browns and Raiders. I'm just going to put a W in there right now.
Oh, that's a W. That's a W. And again, that's one of those matchups, right? Where it's like if you want to win, if you want to even be potentially in the conversation for playoff contention, these are the teams, these are the games you have to win.
Yeah, and by November 23rd, we may not even know who's going to be quarterbacking that fucking team. So
you're right.
I don't see Flacco making it the whole year. I really don't. So you just don't know.
I hope they put Flacco out there. We will eat Flacco up.
Because the Browns do need to make I think they're going to have to get rid of at least 2 quarterbacks before the season starts, from what I understand, because they just got way too many fucking quarterbacks. Shadir Sanders, Deshaun Watson's done for the year. You got Flacco, you got Pickett, and then you got Dylan. So you got
Dylan
5.
Yeah,
Dylan Gabriel.
I would love if by the time we're this far into the season, I would love if they decide to put Shedeur Sanders out there.
That's what I'm thinking.
Because I think for, in terms of the team itself, Joe Flacco's not your guy. Kenny Pickett's not your guy. You drafted 2 rookies. But this time you got to see what they got. So hopefully one of them is out there. But I would love for in terms of the storyline and all the fans watching, I hope it's Shedeur, because it would make this a very interesting game.
Yeah. I think being in November, I think they'll make that decision earlier. I think depending where they sit as far as the conference, and if they're out of it, why not? By November, might as well. If you're not in it, might as well see what you got with Shedeur Sanders. You might as well put him in there. Yeah. Raiders, Chargers.
Exactly. So I think, like I said earlier, I think we're gonna split all of our divisional games. So I'm gonna say that this is a game that we lose. I think the Chargers have us. Just for the simple reason that, again, I think we split. I think, again, it's gonna be close. I think all these divisional games will be pretty close. Probably no more within a touchdown, of a loss, of a win for the winners. But I think we lose this one.
Yeah, I got you. Broncos, Raiders in Vegas. Broncos in Vegas.
Ooh.
Again, does he throw 6 touchdowns, 7 touchdowns?
I think it's this is in Vegas, right? You said?
I'm going with a W.
Yes, because it's in Vegas. We're playing at home, and I think we're splitting. I think we take this game.
Here's the big one. Ray. Raiders, Eagles in Philly.
Look, I will say this is going to be a fun
Ray. No, this may be a game where the Eagles just say, "Go ahead and beat us." They may be so far ahead. You don't think so? In December 14th, you don't think the Eagles have the division locked by December 14th?
Maybe, but I think it could be a lot closer. If it was like the second to the last game, okay. But I think that they're still going to be having all their starters. They're going to play 100%. They're the Super Bowl champions, man. They have it. They have it all, both sides of the ball, and the head coaching too. So this is going to be an Eagles win. We're playing over there in Philadelphia in mid to late December. It's going to be freaking freezing, snowing. This is an Eagles win. Philadelphia takes this game.
Yeah, I got the Eagles winning this too, but I just had to throw that out there because it's possible. It's possible.
It's possible. You're right. It is
I'm
possible.
gonna go look right here because you got last year Eagles 14-3. You got Commanders at 12-5. Dallas,
See, that's only 2-game split.
yeah. Dallas was 7-10, and then you had the Giants at 3-14. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, you are right. It is the 4th game before the end of the season, but I don't know. I got a feeling that they may lock up the season before then. All right, we got the Raiders in Texas playing the Texans.
This is where things get interesting, John, because at this point, from what I have from our record up to this point would be 7-6.
7-6.
So if we're fighting for a playoff shot, we need 10 wins.
Yeah.
We got to win this game. And I think somehow, some way, we do find a way to come out on this game on top and win this game.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I honestly can't give my reasons. I think Texans are a good team. CJ Stroud is a really good quarterback. DeMeco Ryans has proven he's a good head coach.
Yeah.
They have a good wide receiver one in Nico Collins. They got some new wide receiver players out of the draft. But they did lose their best O-line and Tunsil. So they lost Tunsil, and then they had to pick up someone in the draft. So having a rookie that's not a top 3, top 4 offensive lineman prospect, to have expectations on him and just have a worse O-line, I think our defense, surprisingly enough, and our run game, though, on top of that, can be the reason we win this game.
Yeah. I got to win. I got to win in these next 2 games. So, and Giants Raiders, I got the, pretty much win for the Raiders.
Look, I don't care which quarterback you throw in there. Jameis Winston, Russell, freaking Tommy DeVito, Jackson Dart. Look,
hey,
this is
forget about it, Jason.
This is going to be that game where it really doesn't matter what quarterback's out there.
Yeah.
Jason said Stroud will feel the loss of Tunsil. Exactly.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So I think that's going to play a big part. I think that our defense is going to take over this game without that O-line not being up to par. CJ Stroud already was sacked like top 5, top 6 most in the league last year. So you take away your best O-line. Good luck. So that's going to be a win for the Giants. I don't care what quarterback you have out there, but I think since it's so late into the season, by this point you have to see what you got, and your Jackson Dart, the guy you traded up for late in the first round. So I think Dart's going to be playing in this game, and that's just a Raider win. Look, I think the Giants have
it's an important win too,
but it is an important win. This is a game where I think
game.
Going
into
the last
the Chiefs. Yeah, so you want to go in, with it. It's a big win. It's an important win. It's especially when your next opponent is the Chiefs, and I think this game may be the deciding factor on where the Raiders end up as far as making or not making the playoffs. This is this last game because I think both of these 2 teams, because of the improvement of everybody in the AFC West, I think this game here may be that game that either the Raiders get in or get out of the playoffs. So where are you going to go? They're at home, though. They're at home.
This is a Raiders home game. Yes, you're right, because the beginning of the season, like I said, I think we split. I think we split with most of our divisional rivals.
Yeah.
We played the Chiefs earlier in the season, so they're better prepared than we are because we're still meshing early in the season. That's a travel game for us. We're playing in Kansas City, so that's why I said it's a loss. But Week 18, if this is a home game where we've had all season long to gel and mesh, and if at this point, if we are 9-7, how I would have us at this point, and we're fighting for a playoff spot for our division, even if the Chiefs are playing their starters, because there's a chance they could rest them because maybe they've already bagged, secured a spot in the playoffs, so maybe they're gonna only play their starters for the first half and take them out or not. Even if they play their starters the whole game, I think because everything riding on this game and the fact that we're so much more of a better chemistry team that's meshed, I think we find a way to win this game and somehow make some noise in our division and find a spot and potentially in the playoffs or fighting for it.
Yeah. I'm gonna go. You're gonna call me crazy because that's how I am. But I'm going with the W. I think they beat them both times. To be honest, are you going W or L?
For the Raiders, I'm going W for the Raiders.
You're going W. All right. Yeah, we got it. That is our 2025 prediction for the Las Vegas Raiders. I'm looking forward to seeing the Raiders having a better season. I think they made some great changes, make some great picks in the draft. I think they got a good head coach that's going to put some discipline on that team and get them more motivated. Not to say that AP wasn't a good motivator, but like we said, I think you had that friendship, not coach mentality from him. Me and Ray were not in the locker room, so we don't know what was going on inside that locker room. But I got a sense of he was more of the players coach instead of the coach. I don't know if you want to say it that way, or team coach. But I think from what I saw during post games, you got the vibe. Like you couldn't tell. This is the fun. You couldn't tell if the Raiders won or lost when you saw the Raiders post game show or post game in the locker interviews, because it was just like they lost by 15 or 2 touchdowns, and they're just having a good time in the locker room. And so for me, I think the improvements with the coaching staff, the GM, having Brady there, the new coaches, I think, and the acquisition of some of these new players, I think you guys are looking at a great season. I really do think that.
Yeah, I would like to say that I think no matter what, as long as what I expect at the minimum is a 8-win to 9-win season. And I expect, even if it's an 8-win season, I expect it to be a very competitive 8-win season. So as long as our games are competitive, they're close, I'll be happy. But I think our games are going to be a lot more exciting than people expect.
Yeah.
You know,
I do.
when you have a quarterback that can deliver the ball on time to the best tight end in the NFL, and you have one of the best running backs in the league right out of the gate, I think that, again, we're just going to have a very exciting and underratedly fun offense to watch. Now, I think my sneaky, I'm going to say, prediction that I have this year, or sneaky prediction that I have is, I don't think we're going to have, like a good defense or, anything like that. But I think we're going to have a sneaky, like, top 12 offense, top 12. Yeah, top 12 offense. That's what I'll say. I think we'll have a sneaky top 12 offense this year because of all of the new pieces that we have together.
Yeah. And that's what you're going to need to make the playoffs. I think you need to be in that top 10, maybe top 15. But if you can get in that top 10 defense, I think it helps. It's going to help the Raiders. They're quick on the defensive side, so give them that. They're going to be a lot quicker than they were last year. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be an interesting year. I like I said, when the Raiders win, I think it's a better season for everybody. It's nice just to see. I'd like to see all the teams that have had issues over the years. I mean, the Giants is another team, that it's just been awful. The Jets, another team that's just been awful. The Browns, another team, had high expectations 4 or 5 years ago, maybe 5 before the COVID. They were a hell of a team, and it's just this progression just downwards, and it just sucks. And the Patriots, thank God, I'm happy there. I couldn't take another winning season from the Patriots. So and I agree. Yeah, it was okay. You may hate Tom Brady, but it was exciting to see Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl and win a fucking Super Bowl, a different team than the norm. The winning the Super Bowl. It's not Kansas City. It's not the 49ers. It's not the Cowboys. It's not the Chiefs. So it's just nice to have that. A little change. Some teams just making the difference and being smart enough to draft well and have the right coaches in place and GMs to move forward and become, a playoff team. Get there. Just get there. Anything can happen in the playoffs. That's what it is with football. The only thing that sucks, I won't say it sucks. It makes football more exciting. Difference from baseball to football is football. It's one and done, baby. You win, you move forward. You lose, you're out. Where in baseball, you got a 5-game series, then a 7-game series. So you got to you may lose the first 2, and then next thing you know, you win the next 4. But you win football, it's win or die, baby. It's it. You win, you move forward. You lose, you're out. Bye. Pack your bags. See you next season. So I'm looking forward to a great Raiders season. I am. As much as I hate saying those words, I do. All right, Ray, great show. Thank you, Jason, Art, and everybody else out there. We always appreciate it. I'm glad that the phone-in thing works, and it works well on the show. So hopefully I'll get that number out there more. Ray, we'll flash it more on the show. I just wanted to make sure it works. It works good. Everybody sounded good when they called, so there was no delay sounding funny on your end. When they called.
It sounded good. It sounded clear, no delay. I could hear everything, and they were able to hear me, so it worked beautifully.
Perfect. All right, thank you, everybody. Ray, you look into that camera and say goodbye to everybody. Let's do Raiders. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Raiders.